might of the antagonizer.
You'll never get away with terrorizing this town. Not while it's under the protection of the Mechanist.
You and your pathetic tin cans are no match for my army.
The citizens of this town have nothing to fear. The Mechanist is here to protect them.
Ha! We'll see about that. Attack, my ant soldiers. Destroy this fool and his tin toys.
Go forth, my steadfast creation. Show me true power.
Face it, Mechanist. Humans and their toys are done for. They killed themselves off with their petty wars.
Humans may be weak sometimes.
Are you all right? You aren't hurt, are you? I'd like to apologize for the rude welcome. Those two have been a bit of a problem lately. Name's Rowe. Uncle Rowe to most. Welcome to Canterbury Commons. For what that's worth. The, Mechanist and the Ant-Agonizer. That's just what they call themselves. It's ridiculous, I know. A while ago, we were attacked by the Ant-Agonizer, that woman with the ants, obviously. The Mechanist saved the town with his robots. Well, that was all well and good, but I swear their fights are getting bigger, and it's been driving off the merchants. They simply won't leave. Oh, that's terrific. I knew you'd help out. Knew it in my gut, and it's never steered me wrong on a deal yet. Find where the Ant-Agonizer and the Mechanist hide and convince them to stop or otherwise end their hostility, and you'll earn 200 caps. You only need to stop one of them, really. Nowadays, I think they only stay in Canterbury to fight each other. You drive a hard bargain, friend. But seeing how we haven't been able to solve the problem ourselves, fine. You've got a deal. But I expect results. Oh, and please do try to use some discretion. We already have plenty of would-be heroes starting wars in our streets. We don't need another. If it'll help, I'm glad to. Now, one day there was a crazy woman leading a bunch of ants into town. She said humanity was dead and the ants would inherit the earth, stuff like that. Well, that gave Dom plenty of time to line up a shot or two on the ants. She ran away, but every once in a while she'd stage an attack again. She wasn't much of a threat then. In fact, she was sort of entertaining at first. Gave everyone in town something to talk about. But when the Mechanists started fighting her, things got bad. Ants are easy to shoot, but add robots with lasers, it got real nasty. The Mechanist used to be our town mechanic, Scott Walensky. Quiet guy, but plenty fierce with a wrench and some solder. Guy used to take care of a robot that protected the town until it got torn up in one of the Ant-Agonizer's lame little attacks. I guess he took it personal because he made a mechanical suit and called himself the Mechanist, said he would lead a robot army to fight her. Now he doesn't even respond to his name, and his robot army is more dangerous to the town than the ants ever were. My nephew Derek might know more about them. I swear it's all I can do to keep him from running into the fight whenever they come out. He might know more about where you can find them, but don't encourage the poor boy. He's had enough close calls. I most heartily agree. You can usually find one of the trade caravans at the entrance to town. They come through every day or two. Other than them, Porter's always got food for sale down at the diner. Ha! Damn near everything, I suspect. I founded the place myself, and I'm the reason this place stays fat and happy. Because I asked them to, I suspect. I grew up in these trade caravans, known most of them my whole life. I founded this place with my sister Daisy back in the day. Perfect stop along the caravan circuit. They're just small caravans that make rounds through the wastes, hawking their wares from Paradise Falls to Rivet City. They won't trade with anyone who's hit their friends, but that's about as organized as they get. I had thought about it, but some of these wasteland traders, well, they aren't exactly the organizational type. It'd take a pretty savvy businessman to make it worth their while to work together. Frankly, I'm not sure even I'm up to the task. I think you're right. And the specialization might play to their eccentricities. It could work. And I could act as their representative in this matter. Goodness knows I've known them for years, so I should be able to speak for them. Just let me know what you suggest in the way of specialties, and I'll let them know to focus on that area. Then you'd be looking for Lucky Harith, adventurer, martial artist, and occasional collector of the most deadly items known to mankind. He's a bit of an eccentric, but he deals in more weaponry than you can shake a sharp stick at. In fact, he's probably got a sharp stick, too. Harith's got quite a lot of weapons, but I'm sure he could improve his stock. An investment of 200 caps should see to that nicely. Excellent. Harith will be delighted. He usually is by most things, really. If Harith were a less reputable man, I'm sure he could use his armory to collect even more weapons. But he's a merchant, not a raider, so it's legitimate means only. Like a legitimate investment of 500 caps. An investment in weaponry is usually returned in short order, after all. I'll inform Harith. That simply isn't feasible, I'm afraid. Harith's gear already rivals some mercenary armies. Anything further would be asking for trouble. Sure thing. Interested in any of the other traders? Our man Crow handles most armor and clothing out on the trail. He grew up a tribal, but he traded in his loincloth for much snappier apparel long ago. It takes a fair amount of capital to expand into higher quality material, you know. Improving Crow's wardrobe would require a one-time investment of, say, 200 caps. Excellent. I'll send word to Crow right away. Crow's armor is already rather extensive, but I'm sure it could be even more impressive for a one-time investment of 500 caps. Isn't it, though? I'll send this right along to Crow. At this point, the merchandise of our man Crow is the best in the wasteland. I fear it's beyond improvement with further investments. Sure thing. Ah, then you'll be wanting Doc Hoff, or the Good Doctor, as he prefers. He prescribes everything from a good meal to stim packs to things that'll make your brain get up and dance. The Good Doctor's lab equipment isn't cheap. It'll cost about 200 caps for him to offer higher quality material. Excellent. I'll send word to the Good Doctor right away. At this point, it would be hard to improve Doc's medicine cabinet without a significant investment. Say 500 caps should suffice for him to offer a whole cornucopia of pharmacopoeia. Isn't it, though? I'll send this right along to him. As much as it hurts me to say it, there's really only so much that money can buy. The Good Doctor's supply cannot be improved at this point. Sure thing. That'd be Crazy Wolfgang. He does repairs and general supplies, but he prefers to call himself a junk dealer. As he says, he's overjoyed to assist those who have a deep need for his junk. He's just like that. Says it catches people's attention. With an investment of about 200 caps, I'm sure he could improve the quality of his materials, or at least offer more of them. Excellent. I'll see to it right away. At this point, it would require another pack Brahmin to carry his wares. But for 500 caps, I think he could offer more. Isn't it, though? I'll inform Wolfgang immediately. At the moment, Wolfgang's practically carrying an entire junkyard with him. Anything more, and he'll have trouble with the traveling part of being a traveling salesman. Sure thing. I'm sure... All right, you're the boss. Glad to help, glad to help. When they're in town, you can find the caravan trader out front of the town. They say it's a good way to catch a visitor's eye. Enjoy! Good luck with those two troublemakers.
We appreciate you taking care of our town's little problem. Newcomer to town, huh? Well, I'm Dominic Delasadro, and welcome to Canterbury Commons. Try to ignore the idiots in the costumes. Popular activities around town are trading, listening to row yap, and burying thieves in unmarked graves. Of course, we ran out of thieves to bury long ago. Saw to it myself. Might be a dead art, unless you're planning on stealing anything. When I can find time for it, sure. In the gardening business, it's the personal touches that make all the difference. Anyway, welcome to town. Don't cause trouble. Threats of violent justice, so on and so forth. You look like you know the drill. Bro hired you to put a stop to their shit, did he? Guess he finally listened when I told him I haven't got the time to do it myself. It's easy enough to hide inside when those two square off, but they're only getting worse about it all. I don't know who she is, other than a crazy with an ant suit and a chip on her shoulder for humanity. She wasn't much trouble by herself, really. Her attacks were a joke, but at least stories of her kept some of the raiders at bay. If it helps, she was always attacking from the warrens up north. Maybe you can find her ant nest in there. You mean Scott Walensky? I refuse to call him by that ridiculous name just because his head got a screw loose. He used to be a damn good friend, and not just because he fixed my guns up. Now he spends all his time up in that bot shop, just thinking about fighting that ant agonizer. Hardly even recognizes his own name anymore. If you could just make either one of them stop fighting, it'd do the trick. You probably wouldn't have to worry about the other one. I can't imagine Scott attacking the town with his robots, and that ant agonizer girl was never much more than a sideshow freak by herself. Ro may prefer that you're thorough, but all I care about is that you get the job done, one way or the other. Fine by me. I'll be watching you.
Hey. Oh man, did you see it? Did you see it? The antagonizer was all like, "Fear me!" But the mechanist was all, "Stop, evildoer!" The antagonizer, she's this evil supervillain who's trying to wipe out humans with her ants. And the mechanist protects us with his robots. And when they fight in town, it's incredible! There's all these lasers and biting and blood, and it's crazy! And then my uncle says I need to stay inside. He says it's dangerous. This is serious business, Derek. You think they're neat too, huh? It's not like they ever hurt anyone. Well, not like really badly hurt or anything. Dom and Machete make sure that everyone gets inside when they fight like that. Though sometimes I sneak out to watch. The traders and the slavers and the raiders, they don't like the antagonizer or the mechanist. They say they're bad for business. But that's dumb. The ants and the robots rip them to shreds. That shows them. You mean the superheroes? Yeah, I'll try to watch all of their fights. I don't know much about her except she really, really doesn't like people. That's kinda cool. I mean, sometimes people are jerks. I think her lair is somewhere in the caves to the north of the city. I've seen her ants down there once in a while. Joe Porter said he found out something about her, but my uncle won't let him tell me. He says don't encourage the poor boy. I knew the mechanist back when he was just a normal hero. He used to be called Scott. Then he fixed up stuff around town. But one day, the antagonizer killed his favorite robot, and I told him he ought to fight back against her like a real superhero. Ever since then, he's been up on his forge and the back of the robot shop on the hill, working to protect us all from the antagonizer. No way! Don't stop them, they're awesome! Unless maybe you're going to be a superhero too. You could be called super humongous and fight them with an army of super mutants. Well, okay. It's okay, I guess. I heard it's safer than most places, because the raiders don't bother us. But I've never been anywhere else, so I don't know. I've never been anywhere else, so I can't really say, but yeah, it's okay. Say hi to the mechanist for me.
Just stumbled into town? You sure picked a fine day for it, with the crazies out there. Here, have a drink on the house. Welcome to Canterbury. I'm Joe Porter. I make sure folks around here can get a meal when they need it. Sorry, but our water purifier's been on back order for about 200 years. Unless you're here to make the delivery, I suggest you be glad for what you've got. You mean apart from having cheesy names? Actually, I think I might know something useful. One of the traders told me she sounded like a girl he used to know. Girl's whole family was wiped out by ants. Not long before she showed up here. But they never found any trace of her body. Said her name was Tanya Kristoff. That might just be our little antagonizer. Only the best, hand-picked from the wastes, for what that's worth. Give me a shout if you need anything else. Careful out there.
Whatever you can do to help our town, we'd appreciate it.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Fine. Hi. Whatever. I'm Machete, and I've got better things to do than talk with you. Scram. Good guess. I was the toughest defender they ever saw in Lamplight. I earned my nickname fighting off a mole rat with a knife as big as my arm. When I left, I figured I'd pass on a cushy place like Big Town. I ended up here. Dom took me on as a guard, and that's that. I know Dom doesn't want me just killing them. He and the Mechanist used to be friends or something. All I know is, next time they come to town, I bet I could solve the whole problem with one bullet for each of them. What? This whole place would fall apart if it weren't for Dom and me keeping anyone from causing too much trouble. Fat old Roe may think he runs the place, but it's only because Dom lets the idiot.